tackle the late night fright. Deadpan radio fills us with delight. Horror movies and fun they play. I wanna go back there if just for a day. Chat about gory things that they watch. Zombie tales and vampires munch. Slasher thrills and a ghost find prey. I wanna go back there if just for a day. Get bits on and I gotta stay. Back to their voices, let my troubles sway. Where horror roams and creatures play. I wanna go back there if just for a day. Creepy fears under full moon's cast. Rewind the scars from a bloody past. Redneck tales in December or May. David wants to go back there if just for a day. Laughter echoes through the night. Fear and fun at Appalachian Light. Voices curse and the banjos play. I just want to go back there if just for a day. On and I gotta stay. Back to their voices, let my troubles sway. Where whole shit roams and the toothless play. I wanna go back there just for a day.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to the 51st edition of the Vinegar Syndrome drops a bunch of shit that we probably shouldn't own. I feel like I'm losing my mind because I just like did this, but I don't think I had it live. So I was literally talking for 5 minutes. And like I looked up and then I was like, there's nobody watching this. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not completely live. So I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode because I'm restarting this like live time. But my apologies, I guess, for being late because I thought I was actually early, but here we are. So I don't have any earthly idea about what Vinegar Syndrome was dropping today. I know usually they have like some sort of like release where they tell you at least one title or give you hints about stuff, things like that. If anybody knows what that shit is in the chat, then let me know because I don't have any idea. Speaking of like horrible shit though, including this drop probably, David Johansen talking about that. You guys brought that up in the chat. Like, for people that don't remember who he was, before he was, you know, the Buster Poindexter guy that was in Scrooge as the cab driver, he was the lead singer of the New York Dolls, which was probably the first glam band and probably set the stage for that whole entire like idea of that. And I had no idea that he was even sick, but he says he's been fighting cancer for 10 years. He died at 75, which that means now it's been in the past 2 weeks, Michelle Trachtenberg, Gene Hackman, and David Johansen. So what a fucking shitty month, or was a shitty month that this has been. Mayor says, I wonder if Murder Rock will be announced today. That would be weird since who just announced Murder Rock? 88 Films? Somebody like that. That wouldn't surprise me though, because it seems like they always like announce the same titles about a month apart or pretty close together. Also, Devil Fetus. So, okay, if that's the case, then it looks like 88 Films just got on there and dropped all that stuff to keep Vinegar Syndrome at bay and to have people buy that shit. Michelle Trachtenberg was in Euro Trip. She was in Buffy as like the younger sister, cousin, something like that. She was in The Ice Princess, like a Disney movie. She was like a teen star from the late 90s, early 2000s. Harriet the Spy. Yep. She died of some sort of liver failure, I think. Complications. X-Ray says he knew her originally from Adventures of Peter Pete. Yeah. So what a horrible fucking couple of weeks. She was in the Black Christmas remake. She actually probably was the best character in that remake, sadly. But there's not a lot of good characters in there, so that's not saying a whole lot right now. But yeah, so Vinegar Syndrome's pretty bare bones right now. I'm going to take you over to the site when we reach about the 2-minute mark. It says they're going to release 3 Vinegar Syndrome titles, a Vinegar Syndrome Labs title, a Degausser title, and whatever the hell that other thing is. Cinematography. I'm assuming it's cinematography. I don't really care, if I'm being honest. We're not going to like it. I'll just tell you that. That's very true. Like, at least she wasn't in Black Christmas 2019. I hope so, Garrett. Like, I hope that. I mean, I really want Devil's Fetus because, like, I hear that movie is batshit crazy. But that's just me. I think I'm probably one of about 5 people that's probably looking forward to that. I wish I could put that up, X-Ray Pun. Yeah, nobody likes that line, to be honest. It's a little bit too hoity-toity for everybody's liking. All right, let's switch over to Vinegar Syndrome and just look at a blank screen for about a minute or two. So I'm gonna make this full screen. I'm curious to see how many of these films are the same as these 88 films that just got released. And I'm also curious to see if they release anything that's actually like something that I want to buy, because at this point, these later month releases have been really kind of less than stellar. So you got, January is always whatever. February is always a dumping ground. February is always where they just dump everything that like is a bunch of bullshit. And then I feel bad for anybody that subscribed for that, month. March, I don't know. I feel like it's still in that weird limbo of like they're still just kind of dumping bullshit, trying to get through to the midway part of the year. We'll see though. Yeah, we'll definitely get another T-shirt though. That's for damn sure. Yeah, they lost a lot of people, I think. So we'll see. All right, let's go over and I'll start refreshing this son bitch and let's see what we can find. Sometimes they'll let me in early. Not a lot of the time though. Oh, here we go. Devil Fetus and Her Vengeance. I'm gonna have to buy that. Brimstone and Treacle Matter, baby. Forgotten Jally, Volume 8. The Belly of an Architect. Last of the Red Hot Lovers. And 38 Especial. 38 Especial. Okay. Okay. Everybody else in here, what do you think? Because I'm not I don't know any of this stuff. We'll look at Forgotten Jally Volume 8 and see what's on there. A lot of people like that series. But Brimstone and Treacle, I didn't have that one on my wish list. Yeah. So devil fetus does indeed rule, Erie Guts. Brimstone and treacle sounds like something worth paying $40 for. Yeah. Yeah. I'll check back in April. All right. Well, let's see what they got. The partner label bullshit. They usually got some sort of nonsense documentaries that a bunch of people buy. At least. Birth Rebirth. I know people have been waiting on that, actually, for real. Cannibal Girls from CIP. American Expendables, the films of North American pictures. That's something that a bunch of people will mark out about. Corabora, The Dish and the Spoon. It's like fucking something you'd read a bedtime story. Kissopotamus, Kissipapamata, Kissipapamata, Kissipmata. Sure. Lydia's Lunch, The Gun is Loaded, and Road Rant. Been waiting on that one. This one's killer. Mother, couch. Yeah. Okay. The Oldest Profession. This woman's got a finger sticking in her mouth. You can kind of gather what that is. Saint Narcisse. Sapiosexual and Taboo. Family Secrets. That looks like something you never want to watch. Spoonful of Sugar looks insane. And Sweet Dreams. The Sadness vinyl LP for all you that love the music of the sadness. Tarpon and The Visitor. Let me ask y'all a question. Honest to God question here. Are Vinegar Syndrome just like purposely trying to like ruin their business? I'm legitimately like asking that question, or are they just like running out of titles? Because shit like this, like I like coming on here and covering these things, but I swear to you, like even for Vinegar Syndrome, there's a noticeable drop in quality over the past year really, but like especially the past 6 months. With like one or two exceptions where they release like bigger titles, but like I cannot figure out what the hell they're doing at this point. Look at this shit. Like, who the fuck, aside from maybe that Birth Rebirth, which everybody like fawns over, I haven't seen it and I'll bet it ain't worth a damn, to be honest. Aside from that, like, look at what is this and who the fuck is buying it? I'm really like struggling. Like even the most hardcore, like hoity-toity, avant-garde shithead that's got his own head up his ass are they buying The Dish and the Spoon and Corabora that looks like the origin story of fucking Taylor Swift? Like what are we doing? I just come on here every time and I'm just kind of more and more confused. Suspirian says, I've been waiting for Mother, couch for the past 20 years, but even though it's from 2023, yeah. This is no joke, Carter. I'm 100% not kidding. Like Severin is completely at this stage, and I never thought that would happen. Like 2 or 3 years ago, there's no way. But Severin is a better company. They're releasing better like titles. They just are. Yeah, I got to get sapiosexual. Let's take a look at this though, Chris. I don't want to bitch the whole time, but it's very bitch worthy. Yeah, I think this is the point that we're at right now. Honestly, it's like, okay, like there's a bunch of idiots that will just buy anything we put out with the slipcover. And if we limit it, they're going. It don't matter what the hell the title is. Like they're going to buy it, and so I really think that that's where. And I've heard. I know that sounds like just like rumor and innuendo and speculation on my part, but I've heard from people that would know that that is kind of what they like. Several like people allegedly within there is like, okay, let's just slap slip covers on everything. Hell, we'll put a box and a slip cover on it, and like a bunch of people will buy it. Yeah, I mean, honest to God, like from the past, just 2 releases that Red Shirt has and is releasing, they're miles ahead of Vinegar Syndrome at this point. This is different though, man. Yeah, their thing has always been like release stuff that people haven't really heard of, and then people will kind of like latch onto it. But at least before when they were doing that, it had some appeal to like people. I don't know who any of this appeals to. It doesn't appeal to anybody, really. It's just like I think it's just because it's limited and or like, you know, whatever like avant-garde style that they think that that's going to sell it. It really doesn't have any appeal. But that's just me. Hold on, I'm going to check the I guess to each their own. I mean, I am excited about Devil's Fetus, so let's check the Forgotten Jally box. And 10-1, I haven't heard of a single title in here either, and nobody else has, except for the people on the Vinegar Syndrome like Facebook page. Rings of Fear, which is directed by Alberto Negrin. Sure, Negrin. It's got Fabio Testi in it though, so you know it's good. Reflections in Black, directed by Tano Cimarosa. And AAA Arn Anderson. No, wait, that wasn't AAA. Who was AAA? AAA is a service that picks your car up. AAA masseuse, good looking, offers her services. Is that really the name of the movie? That was directed by Dimofalo Fedina. It stars Paola Senatoria and Jerry Coleman. How you got 2 names like that together? It's got Paola Senatoria in it, and it's also got Jerry Coleman. You know him. He's from the Bronx. So, yeah. I mean, and maybe that's your thing. Like maybe like for people that love giallo movies or giallo movies, like maybe that's your thing to find like giallo movies that you've never heard of before. And I could get that. Like with Cat 3, like it's the same thing with me right now. Like I'm trying to find stuff that I've never heard of. And I watched one that Vinegar Syndrome came out that I thought was exactly the kind of thing that I like in my Cat 3 movies, which is I'll show it to you right now. I was actually surprised by how batshit crazy and like just full of nuts kind of stuff it was. But it's the Chinese torture chamber one. The Chinese horror torture chamber parts 1 and 2, I think. But yeah. I mean, that one for some reason like was the kind of movie I was looking forward at that point. I haven't got Corpse Mania yet, brother. But yeah, if you do get a chance to pick that one up, if you like Cat 3 films and just crazy, like tons of nudity, tons of like gore, torture kind of stuff, that's the movie for you. Okay, let's see. I'm afraid to ever click on that Melicino. What they got in the shop? What kind of merchandise? I bet there's a shirt. I bet there's several. Oh, the Vinegar Syndrome Sabertooth Tiger Skull shirt that I was looking forward to. That's on there. It looks like a fucking hamster. Looks like if you took a skull of a hamster. Works out. Not that I would know what the skull of a hamster looks like. I'm just saying. The Peeping Tom shirt. Lloyd Kaufman, The Interviews. God, that's going to be a bad book if it's anything like our interview. Spaghetti westerns. First Yakuza movie, hardcore children's book. Okay, now I'm just getting pissed. Looks like they got, I don't remember if those were on there before or not. Night Screams, Flesh Eater, slip covers. Maybe, maybe not. Who's to say, really? So yeah, let's take a look at Devil Fetus real quick. Her Vengeance. $38, number one. Keep that in mind. The special edition spot gloss slipcover, and it's limited to 6,000 units. It's got Devil Fetus, which is a Category 3 release, and Her Vengeance, which, yeah, I was going to say, like, it. From what I understand about this movie, it's supposed to be like I Spit on Your Grave. So yeah, and that's kind of what the way it gives a description. It's a Category 2B. So for those people that aren't familiar, like a Category 2B is something like Taxi Hunter, where it doesn't reach a Category 3 because it's not like ultra. Like Category 2B to me is like a PG-13 in Hong Kong kind of rating, which is like an R rating here. So this one includes the original Cat 3 version with all of the shocking sex and violence. It's directed by Huang Chun Law and Nwai Chu Lam. That's pretty cool that they got a Cat 3 like extended version, like the regular version included. I'm afraid to watch that trailer though, to be honest with you. Yeah, Garrett, you're Category 1 for sure. Her Vengeance looks batshit. Yeah. The Jennifer Connelly of I'm definitely buying this. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to buy it right now. Don't get me wrong. Like, and I don't encourage you all to buy it right now either because it's 6,000. There's no possible way this thing's selling out. Like, it will be in a sale in the very near future, just like all these other ones that I recently bought were from like back 6 months ago. Iced is at 38. Yeah, I picked that one up. I was actually pleasantly surprised by Iced and incredibly bummed out by fucking Blood Tracks. I thought Blood Tracks was awful, but I thought Ice was more of like your typical 80s SOV style kind of like slasher film, which is what I look, kind of like you got exactly what you paid for with that. Blood Tracks is just stupid, some sort of weird like Hills Have Eyes hybrid bullshit. Dallamano did Solange and Daughters and wrote Rings. Where in the hell's Dallamano at in this? Or did somebody just ask? Oh, here we go. Rings of Fear is the third part to the Schoolgirls in Peril trilogy, Solange, Daughters, and Rings. Well, fuck, Turk. God, I gotta fucking buy that shit. Mother. Son of a. It's fucking $63, man. How many did they press of it? 5,000? I'll just wait. I will just wait on that and we'll see. For those people in here that are not familiar with Massimo Dallamano, please like watch his stuff. I mean, like I wasn't familiar with him either up until last year, and it's like his stuff is some of the best giallo stuff that you'll see. It has the best twist. That's a heavy kind of praise. Okay, I'm in, Dirk. See, that's why we're here. Maybe we'll get recommendations. Blood Tracks was, yeah, it was. Yeah, you saved yourself some money for sure. It's an awful film. Let's see. I feel like the Forgotten Jallies are worth about $15. It just depends on like a lot of people would say like that Devil Fetus and Her Vengeance thing is worth nothing, but like I'm starting to get like some of this has appeal to collectors that includes like, people that are really into like Asian films or people that are really into like giallos. The other stuff though, I guess it has like appeal to people that are really into like smelling their own farts, but I don't. That's the one that I don't understand. Like I get giallos and I get like Cat 3 Asian films, those specialty kind of movies. I do not get stuff like Mother slash Couch. Like I do not know who's watching that. Like that just seems. Yeah, I mean it does look terrible. It doesn't really look as bad as those screen caps would lead you to believe for like a movie that's like that. Um, but Iced is exactly what you think it is. It's got a ton of nudity. It's got some pretty good gore, and it's a cheap looking like slasher film from that time period. Very cheap. I Blood Tracks. I could not. I watched both of them at the same time. Gary, I could not get into Blood Tracks. The song in that movie is great. I'll give it that. That's the one thing that I'll give it. But I can't say that I like the movie. All right, let's see what else we got. We've got I don't let's just look at these two. The Belly of an Architect. Is Vinegar's I get confused because they have 60 labels now. Is this what Vinegar Syndrome just puts out themselves? No, this is from 1987. Okay. It's got Brian Dennehy, Chloe Webb, looks like some Italian people. Directed by Peter Greenway. I've got no earthly idea what that is. Okay. So we'll skip that. I have heard of this movie because I think this is the movie that put Sally Kellerman like on the map. So directed by Gene Saks, Alan Arkin, Sally Kellerman, 1972. Yeah, this reminds me. Just looking at some of these screenshots and stuff of something that would be like a Russ Meyer film, which means I am absolutely 100% out. I do not like those movies whatsoever. Um, but if you do like Russ Meyer movies, Severin's got like a ton of them right now. 38 a special. Usually Degausser has some decent stuff, but I never heard of this. 2,000 units. Directed by Miguel Angel Martinez, starring Fernando Amato, Nora Terriero. Blah, blah, blah. It's home video. No, I'm sorry. Can barely do home video from here. I'm not doing SOV shit from there. Partner label stuff. I bet they put 2,000 of these out. There's only 800 of them left in stock. There's only 1,000 of them. Okay. So this will sell out pretty much immediately within the next 2 or 3 days. Yeah. This is one that I always hear people mention, but I've never watched it. And isn't it supposed to be like incredibly gory or something? There's something to it. The films of JTIV. Cannibal Orgy in the films of JT the Fourth or what, I don't care. Cannibal Girls from CIP. That also looks like something that I probably would not like. Eugene Levy, he's in it. And Andrea Martin from Black Christmas. Directed by Ivan Reitman, though. Now, I mean, depending on how you feel, like if you're just trying to collect stuff from these guys, this has got to be like a comedy. A decade before achieving blockbuster status with Ghostbusters, Ivan put himself on the map with more unsettling stab at horror comedy featuring future icons Levy and Martin. Okay. There you go. I'm sure that's just wonderful. Meanwhile, Eugene Levy in there looks like the lead singer of Boston. I don't know, boys. I don't know how I feel about it. Brimstone and Treacle apparently stars. Well, that sounds like something Sting would be in. We're not talking about like 90s surfer Sting, though, right? We're talking about the shitty, like, singer bass player from the Police. If it had Sting in it, like from WCW, I would buy that in a heartbeat. Let's see what Brimstone and Treacle has to show us. 5,000 units, directed by Richard Longcrane, Sting, Denholm Elliott, Joan Plowright, and a bunch of other shitheads. What's the story here? Originally written for British television. That's all you need to know, really, by legendary dramatist Dennis Potter. The resulting 1976 BBC TV play was deemed controversial that it was pulled prior to airing. The 1982 film version, adapted for the big screen by Potter and with director Richard Longcrane at the helm, is a haunting and deeply disturbing slice of modern British Gothic. Nope, I'm out. Y'all can go ahead. All for you all. Nightwish has a blue from MVD. Oh, okay. Justin, let's be honest though, man. I mean, as much as I hate some of these things that are coming out for Vinegar Syndrome, I believe you just hate Vinegar Syndrome. Just unabridged hate. Like every time. Like they have released a couple of decent things. Unfortunately, I don't know about this series here. But that's basically it. It looks like, man, look at these last series of releases, though. Honest to God, The Carpenter, White Cannibal Queen, The Mansion of Madness, Female Perversions, Virtuosity, Deranged, Crack House. I mean, Crack House has a killer trailer if you haven't seen it, but the Street Trash remake, the Seven Curse and the Witch from Nepal. Which, I mean, that is Cat 3 in that movie. The Seventh Curse is killer. So I will get that at some point. As I will get Devil Fetus and Her Vengeance, but not right now. So, yeah, that's the drop for March. Again, if you have any recommendations, put them in the chat now if you've seen any of these movies and maybe like want to recommend them to other people. Dirk says Crack House is great. I gotta imagine that it is, just based on the trailer. I can't show the trailer for obvious reasons, but like if you want to check it out, I would. But yeah, if anybody's got any other recommendations of any of these movies that you've seen, I have seen The Seventh Curse and I 100% recommend it. I do not recommend you buy it now though, because I don't think that'll sell it. I think it'll be on sale eventually. Like, but The Seventh Curse has got like a flying fetus killing creature thing that this guy like whips out and throws at people like ninja throwing stars. It's just chef's kiss, like when it comes to crazy Asian films. Jerry says you can't blind buy from VS anymore unless it's on sale. Eli says he's surprised that Criterion didn't release Devil Fetus since it's such a prestigious title. That's true. The mayor says he's interested in the Lydia Lunch documentary. All right. Any other recommendations though? Yeah, I mean that's kind of indicative of how it's going right now for Vinegar Syndrome, I feel like. So, These Cat 3 titles I'm looking forward to. I'm going to buy Forgotten Alley now on Dirk's request. I swear to God, Dirk, I'm not buying it at full price. There ain't no way. I don't think I'm buying anything else. I might buy Birth Rebirth, but it's on Shudder, so I almost feel like I need to just watch it on there, and then, I mean, if that's something, I very rarely watch any of these movies on Shudder and then think to myself like, yeah, I need to have that immediately on physical media. So those two will probably be the ones. I'm not really going to buy either one of them right now. Garrett's got nothing to Rick. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Well, I mean, if they're not going to announce Murder Rock now, then they're kind of going to get completely fucked over by, what is it, 88 Films or Imprint or one of them. People will just buy that from them. I know how they are. Oh, yeah, real quick. The Arrow releases of Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell do both look killer. I don't know, Mayor. I've only ever watched that on the Blu-ray. I don't know if they have that on Shudder still. So until, I guess, the next drop, I don't think they're having any sales or anything anytime soon. But until then, the next show that we will be doing on Dead Pit will be probably Dead Pit is Watching. And there is a ton of shit that we'll be talking about on there, including a lot of Kino films like Uncle Buck, Summer Rental. We're going to be talking about Graveyard Shift that Kino just released, which is a wild movie, man, with one great performance in it that I really want to talk about. Actually, two really good performances, one great performance, and a lot of other stuff over at the Dead Pit is Watching thing. But yeah, thanks to everybody though for coming out and supporting us and watching this and these drops. I'm sorry it wasn't a better drop, but it's Vinegar Syndrome, so I've kind of like come to expect that at this point. But we'll try again next time, see how it goes. I'm Uncle Bill for deadpit.com, into the Dead Pit on Instagram, Dead Pit on YouTube. Check us out. See y'all.
I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
You hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to bring greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last South on the left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. Do you know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Here's what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So deadpitonpatreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.